a big part of Conor McGregor's training camp, a big part of his win on Saturday night, in my opinion, is thanks in large part due to one of the newest additions to his team. Dillon Danis, BJJ black belt under Marcelo Garcia from here in New York City. If you're a fan of BJJ, you have heard the name before. Very well known in those circles, and a lot of people raised a few eyebrows when they found out that he was teaming up with Conor McGregor. He was in his corner on Saturday, and you saw a direct result from that partnership on Saturday. Conor looked like a different man when it came to takedown defense. Never really went to the ground, but I think in large part due to what Dillon Danis did, and he is joining us on the phone right now. Dillon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I thought we lost you there for a second. What happened?
Well, today's my birthday, so
holy smokes!
I'm in Vegas, so
okay. Happy birthday!
That was a little crazy.
Happy birthday! Thank you. What time did you go to bed?
I don't know if I slept yet, but it was good. My phone died though, so I had to just get a charger. I'm good now.
How old are you?
I just turned 23, actually.
Well, congratulations on that, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
What a time to celebrate your birthday. After the big win, this must be a dream, right? This has to be the best birthday of your life.
Yeah, it's a surreal experience. We're having a great time out here. We really worked our asses off for this fight, so now it's time to reap the reward of what happened on Saturday night. Okay, so I won't take up too much of your time, but really want to talk about you and talk to you because you were one of the big stories going into this fight and, of course, after as well. If we can start at the beginning, how did you link up with Conor McGregor? Man, honestly, it was very random. Like, we kind of knew who each other were. Obviously, I was a big fan of Conor, and he knew about my jiu-jitsu, and we kind of just linked up through friends and online. We got each other's number, and just like kind of destiny kind of brought it together. You know, it was just perfect timing. And it just clicked right away. The first day I got there, we just hit it off perfectly. And since then, I've been with him training for this fight, and it kind of became personal for me because me and him became so close, and I really wanted to help him out with this fight, and it was just a great experience, and it just happened. Truthfully, like I can't even explain how it happened. It's just destiny. How many weeks were you with him? So I was 2 weeks in Ireland. I went to Ireland to train with him. And then I competed, and then I went back to Vegas. So it was almost, I would say, altogether, maybe like 2 months. Wow. Maybe a little bit less, yeah. Is it fair to say, like, are you exhausted now? Yeah, man, it was a rough camp. It was like I was going to fight on Saturday because in Vegas, I was living with Conor. We trained together every single day. And at nighttime, we would do cardio sessions together. I mean, obviously the cardio was for him, but I did it with him, you know. Sure. So it was rough, you know. And Conor's a workhorse, so we were grinding every single day, man. There was no rest. It was like I was in fight camp. I know you're relatively young, but have you ever been around someone that intense before an athletic competition? Because I would imagine it's pretty intense being around him as he's preparing for such a big fight. Yeah, I mean, I trained with a lot of great athletes in my time, but Conor's unique, you know. It's like people ask me about him, and I can't really explain it. You just got to meet him. He gives out this kind of energy that you can't describe. He's a very motivating person. He's always thinking about fighting. He's always thinking about kind of sequences. He's just a different kind of fighter. He's not like these other guys, man. These guys do it just for fun. They do it just to make money or something like that. But Conor is just, this is his life, man. This is everything he thinks about. This is everything he breathes. And so it's a really cool experience to live with him and kind of experience the way he sees the fight game, you know. Are you going to be a part of all of his camps from here on out? Like, are you going to keep coming back, or was this just for Diaz? From what I'm hearing is that they want to bring me back. I mean, I can't lie. Me and Conor, we click pretty well. You know, I kind of see him as a brother now. We lived together for this whole time. We ate together. We trained together. We watched movies at night together. Like, it was like a brother and a husband. So I think, like, whatever happens in the future, you know, he's always going to be my good friend. And whatever he needs me, I'll be there, you know. So, yeah, hopefully we're going to stay together and keep training. Was that your first time cornering a UFC fighter? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was my first time. What a way to start. What was that like for you? Just the emotions, the walkout, being in there, watching it in full. What was that like? It was super emotional because I know what went into this fight. I know what we did every day. So I seen what he put into this. So I felt like I was emotionally in it. So I wanted him to win so bad. And like, if you could see it in the corner, I was super emotional, and I was yelling at him just to keep pushing because he worked for that night, and he outworked Diaz in the preparation. It wasn't what happens in the fight happens in the fight, but beforehand we put in so much work. So it was super emotional. I mean, but it was a really cool experience. I mean, I don't think anybody can buy something like that. The feeling that I had that night, it was a great experience, man. Because Conor fights for something bigger than just fighting. He has a country behind him, and you can feel it when he goes into that cage that it's bigger than fighting.
What's going through your mind end of the second, throughout the third, where it looks like he's gassing, it looks like he's in trouble, it felt like deja vu of the first fight. What are you thinking? Are you starting to get very worried?
But, in my head, I knew I don't think it was fatigue. People don't understand, Conor is a 145-pounder, and Nate Diaz is a really big guy. So he fought a bigger guy that probably had 20, 30 pounds on him. Nate Diaz must have been 195 in there. Conor was he was walking around like 168, 169. That's a hard task. I know, like, a lot of people like to say Conor gassed and he was getting tired, but that's a really hard task that he did in there. But I kept telling him, Conor, like, you're a champion for a reason. You're the champion. There's a reason that he's not the champion. There's a certain kind of heart that it takes to become a champion. I'm not saying Nate Diaz doesn't have that, but Conor, when just because he knocked out Jose in 13 seconds, people like to say things, but it's because he's a champion that he is where he is. And I kept telling him that. I said, you have the heart of the champion, Conor. Don't worry. You're gonna prevail, and you're gonna persevere through whatever the hard times are coming right now. Like, I knew that it was gonna pass and Conor was gonna come back. I just kept telling him that you have more heart and you worked for this, so don't let it go. You worked so hard for this, and it's gonna pay off.
Two things that really impressed me on top of everything else that was sort of a new wrinkle to his game. The leg kicks, obviously you talked about that, how that was an important part of the game plan, but also his takedown defense. And I feel like you had a big part in that. How often were you guys working on that, and were you happy with his takedown defense?
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like, we trained a lot of takedown defense. It was probably even with the jiu-jitsu we did. We did so much against the fence, like jiu-jitsu. I mean, takedown. It was just live grappling against the fence every single day. We would do 25 minutes straight, sometimes just a straight grappling against the fence, me shooting on him, trying to get him down. And it was just like a lot of work against the fence. And the way he fought in the fight was beautiful. He did it just like he did in training. He was calm, collected. He was taking the underhooks. He was doing perfect. We worked so much in that situations, and John was teaching him like great techniques in there. So it was just perfect, and I was really happy with him. And even in the fifth round, it was either the fifth or the fourth round, Nate got a double leg, hands connected and everything, and Conor just jacked it up, and he was tired, but he still was finding, like, the technique was perfect. I was super happy with the outcome, because we worked a lot of hours on that.
How would you rate his ground game? After rolling with him for so long, we didn't get to see much of it. How would you rate it?
I mean, I wouldn't say numbers-wise, but he knows what he's doing. He trusts me. People like to say stuff about his ground game, but he's going to surprise the people. I really thought he could catch Nate Diaz there. I honestly did. I'm not going to say with what, but I really thought he could catch him. Conor's a really good athlete, and he's really good on the ground. He has an amazing coach, Don Kavanaugh, who's a black belt. So, I knew that the last fight wasn't a case of jiu-jitsu, him not having jiu-jitsu. It was just, a little bit fatigue, and a lot of things happened in that fight, but Conor has a really good ground game, and he's going to surprise a lot of people in the future. Not really surprise them, because I know how good he is, but a lot of people like to put him down for that, you know what I mean? But Conor he's good on the ground, and he's a really good not open learner, but he's willing to go to the ground. Like a lot of guys, they like to train with someone that's really good, and then they really don't want to train with them. Conor trains with me, we go 30, 40 minutes straight. Doesn't mean him training jiu-jitsu, so he's only going to get better than he is. So, he's good on the ground.
Were you surprised that Nate didn't try to take the fight to the ground more?
Yeah, I mean, Nate doesn't really shoot too much, and Conor has really good takedown defense.
Yeah.
So going in, I knew Nate wasn't going to take him down. I was almost 100% sure. So, yeah, and he kind of has that reputation where, I don't take people down, I just want to strike with them. But then towards the end, you could see when he was trying to shoot on him because he knew he was maybe down on the scorecards or something. But going in, I did kind of think that he was going to take the fight to the ground because he was going to take the path of least resistance, thinking from what happened in the first fight. But I knew he was going to be in for like a rude awakening because Conor has great takedown defense, and he throws so many shots. And like when we were doing the sparring for this, I was getting lit up with shots because he's so good at picking shots in the clinch and picking shots, leaving the clinch, and you could tell that Diaz was feeling it. He was hitting him to the body with the knees. But the people that watch it on TV, you don't feel those, but they hurt. And he's pretty precise with all the shots that he hits on those.
I'm sure the week was very memorable as well. After the press conference and the media day and the open workouts, you guys have to go back home, and I'm sure it looked like he was very amped up. How are you passing the time? Was that, did you have, because you seem like a pretty calm, cool, and collected guy, and I know he has others as well. John is very, Owen, Roddy, all his teammates and friends seem to be the same. But was he like super amped, and did you guys have to try to bring him down a little bit?
Going into the fight or after, you said?
No, I mean like Wednesday after what happened at the press conference and the open workouts and all that.
Conor that stuff does not faze him, man. He knows what he's doing. This is his game. Like what Nate's trying to do to him, that's Conor's game. So you can't do that to Conor. That's his game. So he was ready to go. If anything, it made him more pumped up. The night before the fight, I was talking to Conor and I was like, man, I'm kind of nervous for tomorrow. Like, And he goes, don't worry, dude, I got this. I'm going to play with this man. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm not nervous anymore. And he's Conor is one confident dude. I mean, he's not cocky. He's just confident. He knows his skills. Going in, he knew what was going to happen. There was not one doubt in his mind. He knew he was going to beat Nate Diaz. And that was the only thing that was going around. So he was amped up, but it was good. The energy was good. His morale was good. And I knew he was going to go in there and take care of it.
So after the fight at the post-fight press conference, Nate Diaz spoke about you. He never actually said your name, but it was clear that he was talking about you. I want to just play this quick clip and get your response, okay?
Yep.
Here it is. Here's Nate Diaz talking about Dillon Danis.
That jiu-jitsu coach he's got, I'm going to get that motherfucker, man. That guy is on my hit list. This is America, and he's over there representing with them. And then he wants to try to look up at a press conference like he's hard. That's the reason that fool all got rushed at the press conference too, is because they rolled in making it seem like we're the hardest shit in town. But I had too many people, riders with me already. I'm like, you guys are gonna come in, so that's why otherwise we had a good press conference. But they walked in like they were the shit to steal the show. And I don't know, I'm gonna get off topic, but fuck them.
So you're on the hit list. He's not happy with you. What's your response?
I don't know what that means. I'm on his hit list, but if he wants to do a jiu-jitsu match, he wants to do MMA, I'll fight him in MMA if he wants. I mean, he could do a CM Punk with me and bring me into the UFC. That could be my first fight. I'll fight him in a couple months, whatever he wants to do. I don't know what he means by I'm on his hit list, but whatever, any kind of combat he wants to do, I mean, I'm ready to step in there with him, whatever he wants. So
no problem. MMA, BJJ.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, MMA. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'll fight him MMA tomorrow. But, I had a lot of respect for Nate Diaz, and I went to shake his hand after the fight, and he wouldn't shake my hand. He was saying things to me. I mean, this is the fight game. After the fight, emotions are high, but come on, man. Like, I did nothing to him. I don't understand, but now he wants to make it personal. If he wants to fight, that's fine. But, yeah, I don't understand where that came from. I'm not repping. I mean, I don't think I'm repping Ireland. I'm still repping USA. I don't understand what he's talking about. If anything, his coach is Brazilian. Cesar Gracie's Brazilian, so it doesn't make any sense what he's saying.
So in the cage after the fight, you actually went up to him?
Well, I was over the fence, and I went to shake his hand and said, like, good fight or something, and he was just, like, cursing me out and saying stuff to me. And he did it a couple times. He was just cursing me out. And saying, during the fight, when he was up against the cage, he was saying stuff to us. I mean, I got to give him the man respect. It's pretty gangster. During the fight, he's talking shit to us in the corner. So,
What's he saying? What's he saying?
Yeah.
What's he saying to you?
He was just saying, like, I mean, it's pretty obvious what the things he says. It's always the same, but he's saying, like, a couple curse words and saying stuff to us while he was up against the fence. And then after the fight, he was saying, I'm going to get you, motherfucker, or stuff like that. It's fine. I mean, if he wants to play that game, I can play that game too. I'm not going to back down to him. If he wants to fight MMA, I'll fight MMA, jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever he wants to do, I mean, fuck that. I mean, I don't know what he means I'm on his hit list, but then I guess he's on my hit list now.
I got to say, rewatching that footage of the press conference, when they were throwing the stuff and Conor was throwing the stuff, you were up there. I mean, they really had to hold you back. You wanted to get right up in there. You were the most aggressive, I thought. Why? Why were you so willing to jump in there?
Because all of them were yelling things to us. I mean, they were yelling, like, come up here, we're going to jump you, and, like, all this stuff. And if you're a man and then a person's yelling those things at you and then throws a water bottle at you, you don't try to go after them, then I wouldn't consider you a man. So Nate Diaz threw that water bottle right at me. So whatever he wanted to say, I was trying to act hard. He threw it at me, and I caught it. I caught it perfectly. It was a weak throw, and I caught it with like one hand. I was like Odell Beckham out there. I caught it with one hand, and then I threw it right back, and then it just came. It got crazy, And I mean, I've been living with Conor for a while, and we became really close. He's like my boy, so I knew they were trying to fuck with Conor, and I was like, that's not gonna go down. And I knew he had my back, so I was ready to go up there,
Wow. Yeah, that was amazing. How would you, given your expertise, given the fact that you're a black belt from Marcelo Garcia, we can go on and on as far as the resume is concerned, how do you rate his ground game, his BJJ?
I mean, respectfully, Nate Diaz is really good on the ground, I mean, Cesar Grace, he's a great coach, and they all come from a really good jiu-jitsu kind of background, but he used to compete in IBJF, I think. I'm not too sure. He did a couple tournaments, but, I mean, I always go with, I don't understand, how he's trying to come at me, because all this is doing is helping jiu-jitsu. If anything, me getting some publicity, me getting brought in by Conor, is just helping jiu-jitsu, and he's a jiu-jitsu guy, so he should be appreciating it instead of trying to put it down, but he wants to go that route, and then I'm fine with that.
Did you get a lot of flack from the jiu-jitsu community about teaming up with Conor and like what he's talking about, he's not American or, going against a Cesar Gracie? Did you get any kind of flack?
No, the jiu-jitsu community loved it. If anything, us jiu-jitsu guys will get that much publicity. This is great for the sport. It's great for jiu-jitsu. It's just going to raise jiu-jitsu. We're trying to take it to the next level, so it's just going to raise it, you know what I mean? So everybody was all great about it. All the messages I got, obviously you're going to get some haters in there, but, man, it was just it was a good opportunity, and it happened, and then once I met Conor, it just felt right to kind of go and help him, I don't understand how anybody could see it as trading anything. It doesn't make sense. Everybody in the sport is different nationalities training with each other. I know I'm looking nationalities. I look at the person. When I meet a person, the way they treat you and the way that the way that they treat you, basically, you kind of they're a good person and not their nationality. So I'm always still gonna rep USA though, and I don't understand where all this stuff is coming from, but whatever, those guys just like to start drama. It's whatever, and I'm not going to back down to it.
Being a part of this whole experience, has it made you want to become an MMA fighter?
Yeah, I think soon. I have some goals in jiu-jitsu that I always wanted to accomplish since I was 15, but
what's that?
I do that, or I want to become a black belt world champion in the gi. Obviously some other tournaments, but that was always my dream since I was 15 training. So, that was one of my major goals, and I'm going to try to accomplish that and maybe go in MMA. I'm not sure, though. You don't know how this life works sometimes. Some things happen. And this relationship with Conor, it's really going to be interesting going into my MMA career. For this fight, we sparred a lot, and I don't really have too much striking, but he was teaching me a lot. And we were doing sparring a lot for Nate Diaz. So, my leg was chewed up with the leg kick, so it was a good experience. But yeah, I think I really want to do MMA. I could fight MMA now, though. I think I have the skills to do it. And I think a lot of MMA fighters that I train with can back that up. That I could probably just do it now if I wanted to, but we'll see where this takes me.
So you think it's inevitable at some point you will make the transition?
100%. I think fighting is just in my blood since I was born. I just love to fight. Even in jiu-jitsu, people know me as the guy that just goes out there and just fights. I'm just always in guys' faces, and that's why I respect Conor so much, because he's just a fighter. He just goes out there. He just loves a good knock. He just loves to get in there and fight. So that's the same way I am in jiu-jitsu. I'm always pushing forward. I'm always trying to make a fight. The guys that usually beat me are the guys that just try to hold me. But it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get all those guys one day. I swear, I'm gonna beat all those guys. So,
would you train with SBG if you became an MMA fighter?
That's a big question. So, I don't know. Well, it's obviously up there in my list of where I would go to train because of Conor and John and all the guys there. Actually, I clicked with everybody. Arden became like a brother to me. Peter, it clicked. So, obviously that would probably be one of my top choices to go to do MMA. But, you never know what would happen if it's in Ireland, and stuff. But we'll see. When I want to make the choice, obviously I would talk to my team and stuff and my friends and make the decision where I was going to go. But it doesn't matter where I go in MMA. I'm going to consider Conor one of my best friends for life now, because what we went through for this camp, we bled and tears together. So whatever happens or wherever I go, I mean, I'm pretty sure Conor will always have my back, and I always have his back. But yeah.
What's the, I saw when you were walking to the back, I saw you seemed very exhausted, emotionally, mentally after the fight, and you're kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, you're kind of walking and talking with Kanye West. That was happening, right?
Yeah.
What were you talking to him about?
That's surreal. I mean, Kanye is like he's an icon for us. Kanye's the man. He was coming. He was saying mad respect for one of his friends in his group. Actually, J-Lo's boyfriend. He's been hanging out with us, and he was telling him how I was a jiu-jitsu coach, and Kanye was saying how he respects me a lot for doing what I do, and we were just talking. He's a really cool guy, Yeah, I think he gets a little bit of a bad rap, but he's super cool, and he knows a lot about fighting. He was talking to me about jiu-jitsu. He said that he knows jiu-jitsu, and he was just saying big respect to me, and then, we just talked about a couple of things, and, just broed it out.
It was amazing. I was happy for you, and I hardly even know you. I was like, this is so cool. Look at Dillon Danis talking to Kanye West. So you hung out with Cristiano Ronaldo. I saw you take a picture with J-Lo backstage. Kanye, what was the coolest interaction as a result of being a part of this team?
Man, there's so many. There's so many. Like, even after I was talking to Dwight Howard and I was talking to all these guys, and they all know me. So it was cool. They all know my jiu-jitsu. Ronaldo knew who I was. He was like, oh, I follow you on your jiu-jitsu career.
Wow.
And now me and Ronaldo talk basically every day. I'm not even joking. We text and we bullshit.
What?
Like, Ronaldo's a fucking man. Yeah, we talk every day through WhatsApp. And I might go visit him in Madrid and stuff. But, yeah, so it's just been a crazy experience. I mean, we met so many people. Everybody loves to be around Conor, so, like, it's cool, man. But, like, Kanye was pretty cool. I can't even name which one was the best, but it was all surreal experiences, But I've been working my ass off since I was 15 years old in the gym every day. I didn't do anything else in high school since I was a kid. So I'm reaping the benefits now, of this life that I chose. And I mean, I'm happy to be kind of here now and make my name for myself.
To me, I guess what Conor says is right. The whole red panty night thing, I guess it is somewhat true.
Yeah, I guess. I have red Tommies, though.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Two last quick things. Did he suffer a serious injury, his ankle or something, in training camp?
He's fine.
He's fine? Okay. And what about after the fact?
Now, or are you talking about before?
Well, before and after.
Before, I mean, everybody has their injuries, but, Conor's the kind of guy that doesn't make no excuses. You see Nate after the press conference just saying all the stuff about his rib and stuff. We can say those same things, but we're the kind of guys that never make excuses, especially Conor. I mean, I'm the kind of guy, too. I'll never say anything, about that. Well, you step in there that night and you get in that cage, you can make no excuses. So I think that, Conor's fine, and now he's fine, too. He's perfect.
No broken foot or shin or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No, he's 100%. I mean, trust me, he's okay. You can see him dancing a little bit at the clubs right now.
Are you still at the club right now? It's 12 o'clock?
No,
oh, okay.
Right now. I'm lost in time.
And last thing, what is next for you? Like, where do you go from here? Where's home? And what's your next competition?
Yeah, I'm going back into jiu-jitsu, so probably Nogi Pan Ams, and then I fight like Polaris, and then I go into Nogi Worlds. I mean, I'm not usually a trainer, I mean, I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter, so this was a kind of like an exception, because Conor I really wanted to do this because, I really look up to him in fighting and his mental game, and I knew that this would be an amazing opportunity for me. So this is probably one of the exceptions I would go train with someone, and maybe in the future, So yeah, I'm just gonna go back into what I do is training every day, twice a day with my team back home, and then competing basically every weekend. That's just what we do as jiu-jitsu guys. We're workhorses.
Amazing. What a partnership. Yeah. It certainly worked to his benefit on Saturday night. Appreciate you doing this, Dillon. I really appreciate you coming on, especially on your birthday. I didn't know it was your birthday, so happy birthday to you. And I almost feel bad taking you away from the celebration, but it was great to get your insight and to have you on the show for the first time. Again, congratulations on the win, and good luck to you. Hopefully we'll get to speak again soon.
Thank you so much, Ariel, man. Have a great day.
Same to you. There he is, Dillon Danis, the BJJ black belt under Marcelo Garcia, part of Team McGregor, big part of his training camp, and going to be interesting to see if they do stick together from here on out, because clearly, I mean, there is a great team there behind Conor, but I feel like we saw some of that training come into play on Saturday. I mean, he talked about just how many times they drilled takedown defense, and you saw that. I mean, it was impressive. Yes, Nate Diaz isn't the type of fighter to shoot for singles and doubles, but up against the cage, he was trying to take him down a few times. And up until, 20, 30 seconds left in the fight, maybe even less, he was unsuccessful. Again, not taking anything away from Nate. That was a fantastic fight. One of those fights where really no one loses, even the loser doesn't lose. And certainly what Nate said and did afterwards ups his profile, showing up with the CBD vape pen and all that stuff. I mean, it's all gravy. It's all good. There is no loser. There really isn't. Perhaps you can make the case that the outcome is best for all parties involved, because if Conor loses, it's hard to do the third fight. He wins by the slimmest of margins, and now you can do the third fight. And they were both sort of campaigning for it. Nate a little more than Conor, but you get the point. A very good night for the UFC. And by the way, I noted this on Twitter earlier. So refreshing. And I'm not one to pay attention to the mainstream sports hot takes, but it was impossible to ignore them after 196. Conor is a bust. Conor sucks. He's all hype. The UFC messed up. The UFC is dead. MMA is dead. MMA is dumb. Blah, 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 blah. That was the narrative after 196, and quite frankly, somewhat after 200. And of course, we have to get through all the drug testing, so let's cross our fingers that nothing mars 202. But it is so nice. It is so refreshing to hear positive takes on the UFC. Even the troll of all trolls, Skip Bayless. And I know it's because he just teamed up with FS1. Obviously, he's going to try to prop up the UFC. But even he is waxing poetic about the great sport that is mixed martial arts. Even he is saying he's all in. And that's not just him. I mean, Bill Simmons is tweeting this is the greatest fight he's ever seen. It's just nice. For once, it feels like everyone is celebrating the sport. And everyone is, applauding the athletes and reveling in it and thinking about what's next. It's nice to not have to deal with the skies falling. It just goes to show, again, losses don't mean as much as some people think they do in MMA, and they're not as catastrophic to one's career as some people like to make it out to be. It's really not. A loss, you rebound. It depends on how you handle it. And again, goes back to how Conor handled the situation post 196. He put out the blueprint, like we said on that Monday. He handled it like a pro, like a boss, did all the right things, said all the right things, and now look at him. Once again, the king is back. Surprise, surprise.